With the round of 16, the top 4 seeds were once again on the lanes, passing directly into the round after qualifying. But for some, it would be their first and last match of the tournament. Number 1 seed Ryan Simonelli would square off with his friend Ryan Schaefer, who rolled a perfect game in his come-from-behind win over Thomas Newell in the previous round. But even though Schaefer was able to win a 1-ball roll-off in Game 5, he was ultimately unable to stop Simonelli, who took the match 4 games to 2. Making the trip in from Cheektowaga, New York to see his son win yet again is Angelo Simonelli, a dad who has nurtured Ryan's talent from childhood.
He used to stay up and he couldn't sleep some nights, just thinking about why I wasn't succeeding or I wasn't to my full potential. And throwing that urethane ball, that was one of his ideas.
This bowling ball was my godsend. There's no question about it. And of course, at first he didn't like it because it went too straight. He told me it's backing up. I go, yeah, that's right. It's backing up. Now square up and learn how to use it.
He's a great dad, you know. I couldn't ask for better parents. And they've always wanted what I've wanted for myself. And they probably wanted it more than I did. They did everything in their power to get me everywhere I needed to be. And for that, I'll forever be appreciative.
Simonelli may be on his way to the Cheetah quarterfinals, but some of the other top seeds weren't so lucky. Number 4 seed Jack Jurek threw a perfect game in his match against Derek Sapp. Yet it would be Sapp who would walk away the winner after 7. And Stevie Weber practically did the unthinkable by sweeping number 2 seed and Player of the Year Wes Malott. The Big Nasty managed only to average 196 over the 4 games.
I just got lucky, and he wasn't himself, to be perfectly honest. So I got, lucky that I didn't get the best, that he had to offer, because I know it should have been way closer than 4-0.
Being swept was in the forefront of Norm Duke's mind after he found out who his opponent would be here in the round of 16. None other than his old rival, Walter Ray Williams, Jr.
It's a different match when you're bowling against Walter. You have to prepare differently. And it's going to be a war unless you're going to get swept 4 games like I did last time he and I matched up, which, that's all I thought about was the humiliation of getting swept. And as good as he is, to get swept, that's a painful thing.
Even though this was a brand new match, Norm's pain would resume almost immediately. He was playing better than Walter Ray, yet he couldn't win.
The first game, Norm never missed the pocket. I missed it 2 or 3 times, and I beat him. The next game, he might have missed the pocket once, and I missed the pocket like 3 times, and beat him that game again.
I was frustrated, to tell you the truth. I was just saying to myself, getting beats one thing, but handing him matches is another thing. And that was the case the first couple of games. To strike to end the match. The first match I left a solid 9. He doubled to beat me. And the second match, I threw it right through the face. He doubled to beat me. He does what Walter does, but I didn't do what Norm does, and that's where I was. Why can't you play right now like I know you can? And so I did summons up a little bit of I guess rallied the troops and came back.
And then the next game, he shoots 279. He never missed a pocket again, and I missed a pocket like twice every game at least, and 3 times, a couple times. I didn't know where the ball was going.
Norm would go on to capture 2 more games to take the lead in the match 3-2. And while Walter Ray found life in Game 6 with a 257-248 victory to tie the match up, he would falter in the deciding 7th game, managing only to scrape up a 188 to Duke's 267.
I was just kind of lucky to get as far as I did in the match. And Norm way outbowled me, and he barely beat me 4 games to 3.
In the next round, Norm would take on the winner of Chris Barnes versus Sean Rash. Both players are Wichita State University alumni. Both easily won their first-round matches. And both are big fans of the Cheetah oil pattern, for which this championship is named. As the Lumber Liquidators Know the Wood animation demonstrates, the Cheetah is the shortest of the 5 animal oil patterns, and it traditionally offers the highest scoring.
The biggest difference with the Cheetah pattern is we have a pretty defined hook spot. The rest of the patterns are really flat, but Cheetah on the gutter, on 1, 2, 3, there's some friction out there. Now there's not much help in the middle lane, and that's what makes it different from a house shot, as most house shots have a lot of hold. This one you have to throw it to the right. It can still be tricky, but because our entry angle is off of 1, 2, 3, this is why it's the highest scoring pattern for us.
But Barnes and Cheetah did not get along so well during the match against Rash, who jumped out to a 3-1 lead over the veteran. In Game 4, Rash threw a 299 and looked unstoppable. Nothing was working, so Barnes tried playing Rash's game instead, throwing more of a hook than he normally likes, to cover more area, and to hopefully disrupt Rash's angle of attack on the pins.
That's what I was hoping for, but it's a desperation move. I mean, it's not something you want to go to. It's like option 14/2B3, but I didn't have a whole lot of options left.
Fortunately for Barnes, his last-ditch strategy worked. After being down 20 pins in what could have been the final game of the match, the former Player of the Year threw 8 consecutive strikes to survive. Barnes would go on to crush Rash in Games 6 and 7 and take the match.
If you can beat somebody doing what they do best, you're sending them a message.
Also in action in the round of 16 is Hall of Famer Brian Voss. Voted number 13 of the 50 greatest PBA players of all time, Voss failed to earn the points needed in 2007 to continue on the tour as an exempt player because of injury. But thanks to a special golden parachute exemption, he's back.
I'm not here to cash. I'm not here to make money. I'm here to win. You know, when you've been in the limelight for many, many years, and then all of a sudden you're over here, you know, you start to kind of miss that. And I want to get myself back in the limelight. And the only way to do it is you got to win.
Voss has been competing against players close to his own age, like Steve Jarris, who he defeated in his first match here, and against some that aren't, including his next opponent, Michael Fagan, a 28-year-old who has recently had Voss's number.
You know, I've got a little history with Mike. He beat me in the European Championships in Paris this year. He beat me in the last game in Denver to make the television show. So I had a little history with him.
Yeah, he wants to win. He's fiery. I mean, he's still got it. So he's going to be a tough match always.
And in the end, there was only one word to describe this match.
It was a strike-a-thon.
Game 1 went to Voss. He missed only once for a 279. Game 2, Fagan returned the favor with an identical score. Game 3, Fagan wins again with a 267. Game 4, another 279 for Voss, with Fagan failing to strike out for what would have been a game-winning 290. For Voss, it was the turning point of the entire match.
Oh, that was huge. But you know what? I knew in that match when I jumped left of him, he was gonna come to where I was, and he had to be a little more precise the way he was playing them. But it would be a whole different story had he have struck out. That would have been crucial. That would have been devastating, actually.
But there was no stopping Brian Voss. Tied at 2 games apiece at the start of Game 5, Voss fired yet another 279, his third of the match. And in Game 6, Voss incredibly rolled another one-miss game of 277. In his 4 winning games, Brian Voss failed to strike just 4 times.
What I love about Brian Voss is he dances the fine line between arrogance and just being really good. And people know him, he's name recognition, and I love it when guys can still do it in their upper years. At 51, what he's doing is awesome.
Voss would advance to the quarterfinals where he would face an opponent even younger than his last, the #1 seed, Ryan Simonelli.
He's intimidating. I grew up watching him bowl, and he's got that cocky, I'm too good attitude.